What's good, Lorcana fans? We're back today with the Ohanacast, and this episode is brought to you by all of the lovely faces here. We're going to have DJ actually hosting today, and not me, thank goodness. And today we're going to be going over some set 7 cards. I had each of the people on this video, excluding DJ, pick 5 cards that they liked from the new set, and we're going to kind of talk about why we think they're good, why we think they're bad. But the twist is that this video is Noob, Novice, Pro. So Heaven and Alaric, so Brown Turtle and Alaric over here, are going to be our noobs. Titled noobs. They gave themselves that title. It's okay. Ash and myself are going to be the novices. And then, of course, we have Luca and Lucas as Team Ohana's pros.
We got that on camera.
Yeah. I don't want it to go to their heads, guys. So you can thumbs down this video if you like. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to go over, I think it's around 24 cards that we picked. A lot of the cards that they picked were kind of overlapped a little bit. So we're going to talk about that and like how many people kind of thought cards were good, how many people are like, I don't know why this card was even picked. So it should be a pretty good time. Is everybody ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Excuse me.
All right. So here we have our cards, and what I really want to start out with is I want to get the noobs involved first as they start reviewing some cards, because I think it's very important. All this is in good fun with all types of skill levels in this game, and I think it's very valuable to get everyone's opinion, because there's not always going to be that hyper competitive aspect for any card game. You're going to have your casual players that just want to have fun and make decks that may brick 90% of the time, but those 10% of times you hit that combo that you put in your deck and it just pops off and you feel like a genius, but you may not win any tournaments with it. We'll bring up microbots again. So how about we get let's go with Alaric or Heaven, whoever wants to start off first and get us running into some of these cards. We can either go top to bottom, or we can pick one from this row that you really gravitate towards, and let's get some perspective on some of these.
Heaven, I don't know if you want to go first or not.
Sure, ladies first, you know. Beauty before brains. Anyway, the one for the top row that really stands out to me, and it's probably just because I picked it, is the Maribel Madrigal. I just think she's a really good card because it's turn 3, so you can decide to play her or not before or after a brawl, and that it has evasive and it's a singer, so it's like, you know, I kind of like it just because of that. Penny is really good. I think she's going to be one of the top metas for sure. Along with Bolt. I think those two would just be a really good pairing together with Stillsong. Minnie Mouse, I'm not too chill on her, to be honest. It's like whenever you play character, this character gets +1 more this turn. I feel like she's more of like maybe a turn 4 or 5 at best. And the second part of her ability, I don't know. I guess I just don't really know how to play her on that part.
Gotcha. So a little bit of gravitating towards cards like Mirabelle, partly just because of flavor, and which is a great part of this game. We can obviously have favorite characters where I'll try to make Hades work, and it doesn't usually when it comes to the villain Hades. But like the Mirabelle Madrigal card, I kind of mentioned it being a singer and evasive and kind of those different flavor aspects of the game. Any decks that you've kind of been thinking of, any synergies with Mirabelle that you've been kind of cooking up?
Kind of more of like it's weird. It's like hyper aggro with singing. Kind of a little weird, but haven't made it yet, but that was just a concept.
Yeah, you get that evasive, so hopefully you can't be challenged back by most characters. And of course, you're going to have the red pros on our call today be like, dies to brawl. Nice card. But that's not what this is all about. So I definitely like that you're kind of gravitating towards some of these cards that may see kind of more fringe play, and they're going to be fun and casual for sure.
Yeah.
Alark, you have any thoughts on any of these top row cards?
Yeah,
Before
the
we
one
get
that
into
really
some-
stands out is the bolt. When it comes to the bolt one, especially with like the new Cobra that's right below it, when you can shift it and then just turn, then you can banish the Cobra and everything else that's an illusion. It's really good. And then when it stands back up, you gain the lore. I've been thinking about that with pairing that with a lot of the like Sven and things like that. Just stand it up to get multiple lore in one turn. And then if you pair that with the mini mouse right there, if you drop multiple cards, especially with aggro, the way Ashton runs it, you can drop multiple cards at the same time. And it's just, in my mind, I have something cooking with it. So,
Oh yeah, there's ingredients.
yeah. The Penny and the Maribel, I haven't really thought about that much. The Penny, not so much, because if you remove damage with Amber Steel, I lose the value of Rapunzel. So I won't be able to draw. And then the Maribel, I don't really play Amber Purple, so.
Yeah, we'll kind of have those color combos that you kind of gravitate towards. And same with me. I haven't played any Amber Amethyst probably since set 1. But yeah, definitely some fun points on like the bolt. Those niche scenarios where you do have the option to banish an illusion character. I know that Cobra is going to be extremely prevalent card in Purple Steel. That is definitely looking to be, even from a competitive aspect, a big contender up there with Red Blue, Ruby Sapphire. And yeah, a lot of those readied effects kind of giving you that lore generation and kind of leading into some of that aggro gameplay. All right. So I figured we could also, unless Tanya, you want to kind of go a different direction, I figured we go kind of line by line so we can kind of have all the opinions kind of fresh on our mind from each group. So we can go through that top row with our next level, with our, novices, if you want to start us off.
I'll start it off. I really like the Mirabelle personally, simply because I saw a lot of synergy with the tribal version of the Madrigal deck. It got quite a bit this set, I think, plus what came out 2 sets ago during Shimmering Skies. So I think that there's a lot more synergy with that now, and that's like really the big reason why I think that card is good. Because yeah. Anyways, Bolt. I think Bolt's kind of like mid-ish. It just dies to Medusa, and I hate any 5-drop that there's dies to Medusa, dies to Ice Block, Brawl. Like that's just not fun for me. Penny I could definitely see in an aggro version though, and probably the Minds list that both myself and Ash play. Same with the Mini. I think Mini and Penny are like aggro Amber Steel list cards, and so I kind of gravitate towards those a lot. I think the giving an extra lore just like is too good whenever you're one lore behind, one lore from winning. So
Yeah, anytime when there's potential on a card like Mini where it doesn't have any lore inherently, but the potential for big lore turns, being able to play a lot. I think the main thing being, am I going to run out of characters to be able to play? Do I have enough ink to play that many characters? Am I just going to run out of cards? But yeah, definitely. I know some of these are more niche, as we mentioned, like you said, Bolt kind of being a little mid. And yes, as we go higher and higher ink costs, whereas I don't tend to like dies to Medusa as the end all be all, but the closer you get to Medusa's ink cost, and especially when you're getting even to 4 or 5, it needs to be pretty impactful if it is going to be immediately removed by Madame Medusa or now Coil Brawl. I mean, you can Coil Little Sisu it. So a lot of options for it being removed without.
It's not so bad because it got a shift target also. So like you can shift on 3 and it's not terrible. But I just also feel like if you don't get that comp, because I think it only has 1 shift target, maybe 2, I'm not sure. But even then, if you don't see it, like it's just feels bad.
Yeah, it is 1, and it's not ideal, and it's similar to I would run the Robin Hood shift line, so the 1-drop Robin Hood into shift 3 into big Robin Hood, and it still never felt good to shift Robin Hood even on 3 unless I'm
Yeah.
just that's my only play because red has so many different answers.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's one of those. It's not for that matchup.
Yeah.
You may just ink it that game.
Mhm.
Ash, any thoughts on these 4?
My turn. These are 4 that I think I requested.
Nice. Expect some very detailed reports.
Definitely a Amber player. Typically Amber Steel. I like the Mine Train. So
Oh.
Minnie Mouse is one that I thought would be good to just add to my Mine Train, maybe at like 1 or 2. Not a full set though, for sure. Bolt, I'm definitely going to try, but I will be scooping to red blue if I were to play Bolt. But I definitely want to try it out and just see how that synergy works with any of the cards that ready Bolt and see how that works out for me. I don't think it'll be good, but I think it'll be fun. Penny, again, I think like Tanya said, adding that to my Mine Train might be fun. Try it out, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then skip that one too. And then the Maribel, I do like this card because it's evasive and a Stinger 5. However, I am not a purple player. So unless I'm actually trying to put like the Madrigals together, I don't think I'll be running it.
Yeah. It'll be fun for like a theme night where you
Yeah.
run based on a movie, and you can run even the Look at This Family that will synergize with this card. That will give
Oh,
it
yeah.
more reach into being able to sing that 7-cost song alongside another 2-cost or more friend. Yeah, no, those are great takes, and especially already kind of thinking of how to adapt your current deck that you're enjoying with the new cards. It's always nice to see, and sometimes I've done that with Amber Steel, and sometimes it's like, man, after testing, I didn't really add anything new from this new set. But just being able to know, like, hey, I tried it, I gave it a good shot, and there's nothing wrong with cooking, even if you don't ever make that dish again.
You hear that, Alric?
I don't give up. I'm gonna try every time.
We just
I saw the look
cook
on
it
his
till it's
face.
completely
I'm gonna
burned.
try every time.
All right. Can't wait for this next commentary from our professional gamers on our team, Lucas and Luca. Let's get some thoughts on these top 4 cards, why we think they are good, bad, mid, and why that is. We can kind of talk about it overall as if there was a metagame where X card was not in there, yes, it would be good, or is it being essentially gatekept by another deck?
Okay, I guess I'll start it off. I'll go Minnie Mouse and then the Maribel. I think I'm like pretty sure I picked the Minnie on my list. I think the Minnie gives like aggro some pretty good aggression. The problem with it is like you have to play off the top of your deck a lot of the times, so you're forced to play the 2-minute you and your opponent draw 3 cards, which is like pretty bad. It's uninkable. I feel like a big problem is it dies to Mini Sisu. The thing that I do like about this card is in like a Pride Lands list, like a Pride Lands Steel Song list, you can like play a 1 to 2 copies of this as like your game enders and just play this and like kind of go through your deck and like make it like a 5 lore quester. Next I have Bolt. I think so. Originally, I thought this card was like really good because it was like it gave kind of that aggression that Steel Song needed, and also playing a shift line. So it had like the 4-mana heal a character and then untap it. So you can kind of like combo with that, gain like 6 lore in a turn, which is good versus blue red. But it just like dies so easily to everything right now because like Coil is such a good card. So I think you just are like forced to play locations in any like yellow or steel deck. So it didn't really work out. Like maybe in like if illusions come in, this card will get better, but like I can't see it being great because like I would rather just play a storm and kill a banished creature or an illusions character. Penny I think is like a really good card because it's a good on curve card. Like if you're playing aggro, you can go Shmi on 2 and then give it resist, which I like a lot. It doesn't die to Gaston, or like you play Daisy and then you play this and then your Daisy doesn't die to Gaston, which I think is pretty important because I think all the blue-red players are on that right now. And then like turn 3, you just play your 2 mana kill spell. It has it's another 2-drop, which kind of sucks because you're playing a million 2-drops right now. But you could probably cut Ursula Vanessa and just be like early aggro kind of version, not playing wheel, stuff like that. The Mirabelle, like I want it to be good, but it's like it dies to like everything in the entire game. If it was a 1/4, I could see it like maybe in some world in future sets having play. But like this card just dies to fucking everything. Like like it's the same as the Minnie Mouse, which is like why I don't like Minnie Mouse. But like maybe there's gonna be a Magic Ball deck that is like insane and I'm wrong. But I do not see this card being good for quite some time. That is my spiel on the first row cards.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice to see, especially how the mindset of and the opinion of certain cards when they're first revealed versus those first impressions versus after we kind of look at what is the meta most likely going to look like. And right now, most people are looking at red blue being even, it got a ton new tools. It was already a really good deck, and it's kind of gatekeeping a lot of cards out of here. So what we'll kind of need to wait on is, does another deck rise up that can be built to beat red blue, because people are going to be teching against Ruby Sapphire, and then that opens up, great, now is this card better because it kind of wins in that rock paper scissors against the paper that's overtaking the rock of red blue. And that's when we can kind of start always reevaluating cards and not ever counting them completely out, even if their percent is 0.001% of actually seeing competitive play. It's nice to keep them in there. And then Lucas, what you got?
Well, I'm kind of on the same page. I feel like the top row, 3 out of the 4 cards died a small Sisu, which is like pretty rough, if I'm being quite honest with you. The mini being uninkable is just so... I feel like there's just so many better uninkable cards to be playing. I mean, I guess if you were to play it and then try to like gain 5-1 one turn, sure. But I don't see how this card sees any like competitive play at all. And kind of, yeah, what Luca was saying is you're kind of playing top deck most of the time. So mini as a top deck is just rough. Bolt, however, could be cool, but it's a 3/5 stat line is just not good enough. I feel like you are kind of onto something with the gatekeeping of red blue. Yeah, I feel like red blue makes this shift line really bad, and I feel like you should just be playing queen, the 4/3 queen instead, if you wanted to play some kind of shift line. Robin Hood's still really good, but yeah, I feel like the queen shift lines are really good. The 4/4 Simba was also really good because that stat line's not terrible. Penny, however, I do kind of like Penny. Penny in like an aggro deck, I like the Shmi combo. The Shmi combo is kind of nice. Healing it and then it not taking a damage at the end of the turn is kind of cool. So, and then the Mirabelle. Oh,
She's trying.
yeah, it's pretty rough.
I told you guys that Mirabelle is strictly for the tribal magical.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like if we get a
it is
nasty
strictly for the
Mirabelle shift
tribal.
target, this card will see so much play. But until that day comes, poor Mirabelle.
Yeah.
not
They
happy.
keep giving her bad cards.
Yeah. And I mean, we look at
Yeah, I
all this,
know.
and yes, we have red blue as kind of the gatekeeper for a lot of these cards, since a lot of these are all pretty aggressively statted cards for more aggro decks. Maybe the Mirabelle's not necessarily even honestly very aggro. It's more of probably a mid-rangey deck if you're playing the tribal Mirabelle package, since you're probably playing the tutor. Mirabelle Tutor, where it lets you look for another Madrigal, and you're just really playing for the theme at that point. But yes, if you are not playing against Ruby Sapphire on the other side of the table, one, you're probably pretty happy. And these cards, a lot of them get better when you're saying going against a deck which does not have a lot of targeted removal. So that Mirabelle does need an answer that is not a red card.
I just feel like there is so much red in the meta right now too, which is the problem. Because red steel also seems like it's going to become a thing.
They did get some
Brawl
stuff.
is just still all over the place.
Yes, absolutely. And that's kind of where that kind of more competitive mindset comes into play, that if you're in a very competitive area, yes, you are less likely to find success with certain cards because of how prevalent that good of a deck will be. And then for a lot of people, these cards might be absolutely insanely good because you don't have a lot of red blue in the area. It's more casually oriented in those stores, and that is absolutely the case in a lot of areas. We just happen to be in very high density. Well, you move out of North Carolina because we got a lot of players here in TCG, but no, it's nice. And even if we were to start kind of having, like, always, for anyone on this call or anyone watching these videos, look into saying, hey, can we have like a theme night? There was a theme night not terribly long ago that a lot of people went to, and from what I can tell, it was probably pretty fun. And I think they banned Sword in the Stone as the theme because the bounce package is busted. So yeah, I think it's nice to see everyone's kind of mindset into all these cards, and from the competitive side versus the more casual side, who really just wants to have fun and not stress and lose years of their life.
I love
all right.
stress.
Let's go back down the row on this next row of cards and start from the top with our pros and get their take on these cards. The Queen, the Giant Cobra. Can't wait to hear what we hear about that card. The Return of Hercules, and Tramp.
You can't call people that. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
All right, let's go with Lucas or Luca. You want to start it off? Let's go to Lucas. You're fresh off talking.
Okay, sure. Queen is really cool. I like Queen. 4/3 stat line's pretty nice. It's an inkable card. I like the ability. It's kind of like a pseudo goat, I guess, but I mean, gaining 3 is pretty nuts. I like the Queen. I feel like the Queen's pretty cool. Now, will it see competitive play? I don't know. I feel like most purple decks are like super limited onto what they can play. I feel like they already have a set number of cards they're allowed to play just because of the bounce package. Mm-hmm. So you don't really have that much room to tutor out cards. But I mean, it could be a cool card to play and try, I guess. I don't know. However, the Giant Cobra, this card is nuts. This card is broken. I mean, it's got an insane stat line. It's a 3-drop inkable, gain 2 lore on play. I mean, I feel like this card will see tons of play. This card is so good. The 4/4 stat line alone on a 3 body is crazy. You don't really see that much. And then gaining 2 lore on play is super nice. The Return of Hercules, however, I don't think we'll see much play at all. Both players revealing a card in their end and playing it for free seems really scary if you're up against a red.
Oh god,
there's a theme.
Yeah. Or against a red.
I didn't even think about that.
If you play against a red blue and you play this on 5 and they drop Toa 3 turns earlier, that's probably game over. The game's probably over. Let's be fair. So I don't think this card will see play. I feel like you would also have to be playing some really busted cards, and I still don't think that would be enough because they're probably playing those same busted cards. Tramp. The 1-3 stat line is just so rough. Little Sisu is like such a good card still, and with the introduction of Sapphire Coil and other things like that, I don't know. I just don't see how this card sees also any play. The stat line is so rough. So, yeah, just don't see this card seeing any play at all.
Yeah. What kind of decks do you think it would fit in, even if it's not going to be a very hyper competitive? What for those wanting to build with this new character that has been introduced to the game of Lorcana? What kind of deck would you put it in there? Besides, and none not being an answer, Luca. Lucas reading the ability to figure out what in the world this card does before he.
I had to do
Does
the
this
same
what-
thing. I didn't even know what it did.
Lucas's laptop died.
Yeah, I was gonna say he froze.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll start off by saying for him that I don't think this card can see like basically any play in any deck currently, because like it's a 2-drop like aggro creature, and you don't want to play it in an aggro deck because you're trying to go fast. You don't want it to be challenging people's stuff. It's a 1/3 that like doesn't quest for 2. If it quested for 2, and it might be like fine. And like the green purple, you already have enough kill spells. Crab's just probably better. Your 2-drop slot is pretty filled up. Return of Hercules. This card is busted. Like,
Oh my god.
this card is crazy. I genuinely think this card is like gonna be one of the best cards in the entire game in like a couple sets. Like, this requires like everyone's saying like, oh, somebody can put in Maleficent. If my opponent has Maleficent in their deck, like their deck is, I don't want to say like their deck's bad, but like even normal red blue isn't playing Maleficent right now. I think when this deck becomes good, Maleficent will be played more, but people aren't going to be like, there aren't color combinations where it's going to get played. The thing I like about this card is you can like play a good character and then play Ink Geyser, because I think you want to play this in like a green blue deck, and you can play like Mufasa and stuff. So you like take your big turn, untap, and then play Ink Geyser, and you can kind of just like bounce off of that. I think it goes well with Diablo because you have an action to discard. It kind of depends on the list. It depends on what characters get built. Because like in later sets, you'll obviously need a better character, and you obviously need to outclass your opponent's characters. But I think right now is a good time. But need some better characters. Giant Cobra, I've been testing a ton because I'm going to be playing Purple Steel to CCS probably, and this card has been absolutely crazy. Like, everyone says the vanish mechanic is like so annoying and it like just dies, but this card I think it's died one time in testing to like the vanish effect. The problem was your matchup versus Steel Song was tough, but I think this does a really good job at like you can discard a lot. You just like discard before they wheel, and then you can like get that little edge and like get the 2 lore you need. I think it really speeds up your clock. It's probably like one of the best 3-drops because you can go like 1-drop into Calhoun or Shmi, and then play Cobra and go to like 6 lore, and that's just so much. Like, it's turn 3 and you're at 6 lore is just like very quick. You're already playing Rose, already playing Goat. Some lists are playing Genie. That's just like preference and metagame wise. Like, I just think this card makes your game so much faster. And turn 5, you have the ability to like play Snake, bounce this, replay this. You get to play Doc with it. I think this card's absurd. My next card is Queen. I think this card's like fine. The problem is all the purple decks, their 4-drop slot is pretty clunked up. It's a 4/3, which I like, so it doesn't die to like brawl and stuff. But like if they have a coil, they have a coil. It doesn't die to little Sisu, which is good. The choosing the 3 cards If it was up to 3, I'd like it a lot more because you just tap it, gain 3. If you can hit at least one card, I wish it would just gain you 3. The princess, if a princess was here, gain 4, absolutely useless text. I wish it was changed to something else, like if so, draw a card, or if you hit like a certain color type, draw a card. I would like that a lot. I think this like makes for a good like combo if you can like play LeFou and red purple. Red purple's dead thing. That deck's trash. Why do people play red purple? I think you can play it in purple steel, but it's just so slow. Like if this card gets killed, it such a feels bad. But yep, that's the end of it for me. This card is probably like C tier, maybe B tier.
Yeah. No, I think it's one thing I really want to highlight based on your analysis that I think is very important to look at when analyzing a card. So, one, it was already mentioned, like the queen being a 4 stat line. Yes, we always kind of revolve everything about what does it die to Medusa or die to Brawl. But having that stat line, we a lot of times look like, is it going to get any value before it gets banished? So while the queen doesn't have an on play ability, at least it has a stat line to have a higher chance of getting around to my turn again to be able to at least utilize that ability. And I do see the validity, and rather than just tack on an extra lore if there's a princess, it may have been nicer to have some extra effect there. But the thing I really want to highlight is in that conversation on the Return of Hercules, because we've seen a lot of kind of talk about, oh, well, there's going to be so much red, and if they have this, then it's going to be terrible. Like I'm just giving them a Maleficent Dragon, for example. But at the same time, like Luca was mentioning, that I think hits a good point there is if they have something like that in their hand, they're all the time pretty much inking that early game. And are they actually holding on to it to wait for you to play this Return of Hercules? Probably not. So they're normally not going to have it. And so Luca, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but you're kind of thinking through things of the lens of in the game state that I would play this card, they would have already inked that at the beginning of the game. And it's not late enough in the game potentially to where they top deck it, draw some cards, and then they just play it with their million ink.
Yeah. Also, another thing with this card is like saying you just won't ink your big cards is like so clunky in your hand. Like you just have like a 9-drop just sitting in your hand, and like then you like your curve gets thrown off a lot. Because like one thing is blue red has like quite a bit of uninkables, and when you're just like, I guess I won't ink this 8-drop.
Just in case.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. And for those that want to kind of test out this card, it even is in an ink color of emerald, where you have tools to be able to essentially, if you want that crutch of, oh, I'm afraid to play this card, so let me use like Diablo, that 1-drop, or Ursula 2-drop that can at least look at the hand, potentially remove a song to see, hey, is it going to be beneficial to play this Return of Hercules, for example, in case someone is randomly holding on to an 8-9 cost character. So I think those are good points to kind of bring up. All right, so let's go down and we'll go to Ash.
Sorry, I forgot it was muted.
Oh, no worries.
So I think I'll just piggyback off of what you were saying, because the queen, I don't think I would run this card because it's not an on-play ability. I don't know. I prefer an on-play ability rather than an exert, because I don't want to take the risk of it not being there next round to get the 3 lore. Instead, I just wouldn't play her since she's a 4 cost. The Cobra, I'm not a fan of the Vanish ability. I think I need to see it in action. I haven't done any testing with any Vanish abilities. So as of right now, anything with Vanish for me is going to be a no. And then Return of Hercules. Anything that's going to let the other player draw or also play a card, I kind of stay away from, just because I know that I'm not the most skilled player, so I don't want to give anybody else the upper hand against me. I think it would be slightly better if it were a song and then I could sing it on like turn 3 or 4. But yeah, I don't think I'll be playing it. I'd like to see somebody else try though. And then Tramp.
Alaric's like, I'll do it for you.
Put on the kitchen apron.
And then Tramp, honestly, I think I've read this card and just disregarded it, to be honest.
Fair.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I'll start with Tramp because I'm just gonna kind of
glaze over it.
I'm just gonna like trample over him really quick. I don't see this card getting played outside of like a theme night deck or in like a super aggro version of like a green something deck, and it would be like a very, very low to the ground kind of thing. And I feel like it can keep itself alive because it gets is it till the start of the next turn? Oh. No, it's not. So it's not good. Never mind. I take everything I was about to say back before I even say it because I just don't see this card like being too great. I don't know. The Return of Hercules. So we were talking about this in Discord earlier today, and like I feel like the card could be good, but I just don't know. Cause like Ash said, like I don't ever want to give my opponent like an advantage, especially if like you're playing against like Song or something and they like play an aerial. They still get the effect. They play a Rapunzel, they get the effect. So it's like you're kind of like giving like your opponent could have, by the time you're playing this card especially, like you're giving your opponent a chance to like get a turn ahead on your turn, which can be kind of like, I would only ever play this card in a discard. Like bring Bucky back, take him out of like the errata, let me like go crazy, discard your entire hand, and then I'll play the Return of Hercules kind of situation. Like I couldn't see playing this card in anything other than green steel discard. Giant Cobra, I think the card's really good. We were looking at a bunch of like purple steel lists today, and almost every single one of them for next set had Cobra in it. Just another character to gain them lore, and its stat line is insane. I just really, really want to play a helping hand on any Vanish card and helping hand it to the banish pile. Like that's like all I want to do. Like, or good job it to the banish pile, like, because it would just be too good. It just feels good for me. The Queen, I have a hate relationship with the Queen because when I was playing Ruby Saph, I don't know, however many sets ago now, the blue or the Sapphire Queen, that is the same thing. You play her out. She was a 3/3 3-drop, I think. But she like you had to wait a turn and then exert her, and then hopefully you found an item, and then hopefully you could play it out. And it's just kind of like Ash said again, like I would much rather have on play effects, because in the current meta and the meta going into set 7, Coil, Ice Block, Sisu, Coil, Big Sisu, like it's just like they're by turn 4 they probably have like 6 or 7 ink, and if they got a little Sisu on the board, they're shifting and coiling, and your Queen is gone anyways. So I don't know. I in the competitive scene, which is kind of like where I sit a little more than the casual, like that's just kind of like how my interpretation of a lot of cards goes, is like, is this gonna get coiled or ice blocked into oblivion? Like, because at this point, like especially with Coil being a card now, it's insane. So
yeah, I'm hearing some kind of themes with kind of our novice group here of there being some not in any negative way, but kind of when looking at some of these cards, kind of almost fear and risk being a factor, more so of, oh, I don't know if they have something big in their hand. Am I going to give them more benefit by playing the Return of Hercules? In the red blue case of, oh, they probably have it. They always have it.
They always
They're
have
going to
it.
have Coil and Shift Sisu or something like that. But kind of having those kind of doubts of, like, for example, the Giant Cobra, whereas we saw our pros saying it's a really good card versus kind of almost saying like, oh, well, I can just use any action on it and it goes away, and kind of that unknown and risk factor kind of being almost kind of bringing it down from what I kind of was hearing the hype from our pros on. So it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition there. Going into our, I feel bad saying it, but our noobs are people who are going to have a lot more fun probably than any of us, any other people on the call.
Yes.
We'll start with Alaric. Do you want to start running through any of these
Yeah.
cards and cooking for us?
So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with Tramp.
Let's go.
I don't even like this card. Like, I even looked up what Lady does, and I mean, Lady just, you get an extra lore if Tramp's on the field. It's gonna be a no for me. Return of Hercules, I really like that card. Especially for like green blue. Especially with like the universal shift cards that are coming out and stuff like that. The reason why is because once that comes out and I play a second character and I have that Baymax out, I can sing Let It Go and let it go whatever they played. Or do anything like that to get rid of whatever they played. So their advantage is gone. They wasted a card on their turn. They may have gotten like a Rapunzel effect. They can have it. That's cool. Especially in green. If I have the ink, I'm going to make someone discard. I wouldn't run 4. That'd be really silly. But I would run 2. I really like that card though. Just not the enchanted.
You can give it to me if you pull it.
Giant Cobra, I like because there's a Jafar right there. Automatic 4. The whole Vanish thing, you can waste all of your stuff on him. That's fine, because as soon as he's played, I'm gonna get that 2 lore. I got his use, and you're gonna waste whatever you want on that. So the value is still there for me. Especially if like you storm it, unless you're playing Good Job, which up here in North Carolina, no one's gonna run Good Job. And then the Queen, yeah, for only one person. The Queen, I don't like it because it's slow to me. I like on plays, like Ash said before. She likes it as well. On plays, I wouldn't play her, because if I do play purple, it's just gonna be all Jafars and Giant Cobra, so I won't play that. So that's just my thought process on these 4 cards.
Yeah, I was hoping, I was counting on you to start cooking with Tramp, because
I can't cook with that.
Oh, come on! You play
I can't. I can cook with a
yellow
lot,
green
but I can't cook
aggro
with
with a bunch of the Minnie Mouse that banishes 5 power or more. Oh, chosen character yours. I reread the card and now it doesn't do what I
that's
want.
why it's for each character, and it's like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and
I would have to play with something that gives a rush, and it has to be red. But then it's like I'd rather have so many other cards.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's my
card
only
is
thing. But it looks
dog.
nice. It's a good as boy, But
yeah, he's eating some gluten-free spaghetti.
Bolt is the goodest boy.
Yeah, with
they're all the goodest boys.
Derpy art on the enchanted. But yeah, so not enough instant gratification when it comes to like the Queen to justify it being used, and kind of same avenue there of what does it do for me now? I don't care what it does for me later. And then I loved your Return of Hercules of, you know what? I don't care what you play. I'm playing my game. And if you play something that wins you the game or whatever, like I'm doing my own thing. So
I'm gonna try like my hardest to whatever you play. If
I
play it, then I'm hoping I have something else to answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Heaven, let's round off this row here.
All right, I'm going to show my newbiness here. Tramp was actually my chosen choice. Just because I am going to be that hyper aggro girl and just go low and slow to the ground and just bam, 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 bam on everybody. And then I'm going to win. You guys are going to be sad. So that's my card. That's why I'm like, what? Every time somebody's criticizing it, don't worry, I'll get you guys later. For the Return of Hercules, I don't like the risk. I'm just, sometimes I'm risky, sometimes I'm not. That's one of those ones I'm not risking it. Alric was good with being like, I don't care. I'm not that person. I'm just like, let's play this to get this out. But that's it. That's the extent of my knowledge. Giant Cobra, that's going to be good. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's going to be good. The Vanish is an issue, but I could just see people just playing Giant Cobra forever. The Queen, I really only see it being good with that Donald Duck the Sorcerer if you're just trying to get to that 25 lore. Just kind of planning a turn or two ahead for that. But other than that, I don't really see much potential with it except for tacking. That's it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up some ideas for Tramp. I definitely hope to hear the stories of someone on this call getting absolutely destroyed by a Tramp, your Tramp deck. Yeah, always look into other cards as far as things that do benefit from increased power in an aggro deck. So whether that be like a challenge-based aggro deck, there's like the cards like Snuggly Duckling that worry about the amount of power a character has. If it challenges a character while at Snuggly Duckling, it's a lot of setup, but that's why it's more niche and it's fun when it pops off. And will it be consistent? Maybe, maybe not. But hey, try it out and let us know if you get a good list.
I will.
All right. And then I'll let you lead us off for the next round of cards. If we can get Tanya, you mind scrolling down just a little bit? We got Merlin, the Clever Clairvoyance, Hero Hamada Shift, Ink Geyser, and Pete. So let's start off by going over these cards. I'll give you a second to read them in case there are ones that you didn't put on here and not as familiar with. But what are you kind of thinking initial thoughts on some of these cards?
All right, so I'm just gonna dive right in. Let's see, for that Merlin, I think that would be good. Probably in a blue deck. That's about the extent of my knowledge on that one. I'm not even gonna lie on that. I know like really none of these cards. Hero, only if you're really playing Floodborn. I wasn't around in that area for the Floodborn type, so I'm just like, oh, he's great because everybody's like, oh, Floodborn's coming back, and I'm like, I have no idea. So that would be one I'd have to like categorize to actually find. To even pair with that. Ink Geyser, everybody's like, oh, that card's gonna be so great. That's gonna suck for your opponent. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I can see just red blue being destroyed by that, but that's about it on that one. I guess that's why the hype's about that one. For Pete, let's see, when this character is exerted chosen, can't sing. Ooh. See, that's gonna be good. I think they're trying to do more on the pirate theme, but I'm just not sure if that's gonna go as well as they planned this set. Maybe in a couple more sets. But that's my initial thoughts on everything.
Yeah, so maybe more kind of thinking that Pete card's maybe more flavor oriented than necessarily let's make it good for the meta, but more focusing in your pirate characters gain resist, more thematic of Pete being kind of a jerk and not letting opposing characters exert to sing songs, which I never like to see as a Steel Song player. We'll see if I'm able to continue playing Steel Song with this set. We'll see. But yeah, as far as with like Hero, thinking if floodboards are going to be more prevalent, and then yeah, Merlin. I mean, like you kind of mentioned, it's really just, are you building a whole deck around a specific card that you'll know? Are we playing Merlin's Cottage? So we know what the top card of our deck is. So yeah, definitely some good initial takes there. Swing back up to Alaric.
So I like the Merlin. I'm actually I find it interesting, especially like if you're doing like a not a competitive like Blurple deck. With Merlin's Cottage is what I thought about and the Bruno, things like that, just so you can continuously have like ways to do everything. I know a lot of people, of course, for fun, that play that Bruno that you can see the top thing, boss's order, so you can always guess what's going on. It will be like for fun, 100%. The hero, I love this card. I love this card a lot. And green blue, just right now, giving everything ward is going to be a huge thing, especially because red blue, just blue in general with the coil, and then red just targeting everything with brawl and Sisu, like baby Sisu because big Sisu. But when he drops, you can make him like a shift 4 because there's other cards that lower it if you're using for shift. So I already have ideas cooking with him, and then same thing with Ink Geyser. I think Ink Geyser will be one of the few ways to stop maybe red blue, just constantly keeping them back down to 3. When they try to TPO, you use it again, bring them back down to 3, and then hopefully try to get them to discard, slow them down. Is it gonna work? Are you gonna see it like from me every time? Yes. Everybody else, not so much. And then the P, I like it for the pirates. And then, I've seen a lot of Steel Song players, and that just hurts my soul. I don't like Steel Song. So having them not able to exert to sing is the best thing in the world. So I really enjoy that card.
You are literally being hosted by the Steel Song
Yeah, I know.
captain of our team.
100%.
It's
I know.
okay. It's
And
okay.
Ashton plays it, and like Steel Song is just so
Fun.
it hurts my soul. And just giving your pirates resist +1, so if you don't have to sing and you just play something, I'm just like laughing because it's like 1 damage. Eat it. So I like these 4 cards, especially Hero and Ink Geyser. Those are 2 I think are going to be amazing.
Yeah. So I like kind of looking into some alternative deck styles for like Blurple. That doesn't have to be the traditional route that you run. Some alternative inking choices so that maybe I don't have to ink so much of the cards in my hand. I'm getting free ink off the top of my deck potentially. And if they want to answer this 0-1,
Let them
great.
waste it.
Otherwise, it's generating me value, and then my other cards are getting, winning me the game at that point. So, yeah, no, that'll be cool to see. Panda Tanya, you want to go next?
So Alaric kind of took my Bruno thing because I've been trying to make Bruno like the what is it, the 4-drop evasive, you tap him and you name a card. If it's that card, you gain 3 lore. I've been trying to make that work forever, and it's just not super great. But with like this card, it just kind of facilitates that a little bit more. Merlin's Cottage. There's a lot of cards that have come out since that card came out that facilitated a little bit more. So I might try to look at that. But I don't think the thing with this though is like it's just not a turn 1 technically. Like if you think about it, it's not a turn 1 play because like you need something else to facilitate unless you're just putting like I don't know 59 freaking microbots in your deck. I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like it's just a statement,
Yeah.
and I'm not actually doing that. But like, because then you like if
No,
you have this card, like okay, I can call whatever. So it just makes it like it's definitely not a turn 1 card. It's like and it's another card where it's whenever this card quests. So that kind of sucks. That's my
Yeah.
other issue with the Bruno too is like it's an exert it to activate effect, so it's just it's kind of butt that way, but I still like it. I want to probably try to rebuild that Blurple version to see, but Hero, I think Hero's really good, giving all of your Floodborn characters evasive and ward. You have the new Universal Baymax. You have Diablo if you end up playing like a Diablo weird list. You have Clarabelle. You have Gothel. There's like a ton of options for Hero to give evasive and ward to, and it like protects against like brawls. What is like any of the Amber Steel? Well, I guess like more so the Steel songs that do damage and stuff. So like good in that way, and it protects itself because it gives itself evasive. Ink Geyser, while Alaric was talking, I think this card is so good. Okay, I just cooked the strongest, craziest thing in my brain, and I can't wait to get my hands on 4 Ink Geysers because I'm playing 4, and I'm playing 4 Bend of My Will, and nobody can tell me not to. But I just like thought because when we were doing the theme deck, we could also use like Disney Lorcana cards, and one of the Disney Lorcana cards is Owl Paradise, and it says for every character you have here, pay like however many like less for every character you play or for every action you play. So like Ink Geyser could cost 0, and then you just bend to your will for 4. Like, you know what I mean? And then you gain 3 lore off of the bend to your will. Anyways, but yeah, no, I was like cooking probably a little too hard. We won't talk about that. And the Pete, I don't know. You just like hard cast a strength. If you have a bunch of characters on board, he goes bye-bye, and then you can just sing. But
So you
like,
need 6 characters on board.
yeah, how many times do you not have 6 characters on board, DJ?
I mean, but at that point, I don't need to be dealing with your
You don't need to be
Pete
getting rid of anything.
Pete
Yeah.
Space Pirate.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's really good. I think in the mirror match of Green Steel, he could be like kind of intense actually because like the discard Green Steel version doesn't like ink a ton. They always end up with like I think like 6 at the most, 5 or 6 at the most. So like them having to hard cast a song is like intense. And they're only playing Let the Storm Rage On and Strength, I think. So that would require them to literally be able to spam the board. And his 5/5 stat line's kind of sick. Any quest for 2? My pirate characters are taking stuff out. Like the resist is crazy. His stat line's crazy. He's kind of good. I kind of like him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna play pirates, but I think he's good.
Yeah, and the unique thing on him is that like other characters that say your other blank characters gain this, he
Just
is
says they're pirate
selfish,
characters.
and that's very thematic, and he gets the resist one himself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's interesting, and I definitely know you are kind of, when it comes to everyone, one of the most kind of all the way across the spectrum of like overcooking, which will be fun to watch, and then also kind of more on the competitive side. So it's always fun to see that kind of ebb and flow of your thoughts on certain cards.
Yeah, I love to overcook and then get sad when I lose in big tournaments. Story of my life. It's okay. It's fun.
All right. Ash, are you overcooking on any of these cards, or what are your thoughts on them?
I don't know. I don't think I'm an overcooker. I try to bring Alaric down to earth sometimes.
Shit song beatdown.
Yeah. For this Merlin, I think it would be so much better if it would say once per turn and if it had a board. And then I would just let it sit there and use it every round.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
But since it's just when you quest, I feel like it's just I'm gonna use it maybe once if you don't get rid of it, and then I don't know. I think it would be a waste personally.
Yeah.
Were you gonna add something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's a good thought of like what would make it in your eyes playable. And there's even an argument to say like even if it was a static effect, then and it had ward, which is a very scary keyword in Lorcana, would that still make the cut in lists? I would need to build still completely around the card with things to know what that top card is, and then I'm not questing with him, so he's not getting me any lore, not getting me to that finish line. So it's kind of always kind of cool to see 4 cards that you don't think are good, what would make them at least playable and to a point where you as a player would consider that card. And sometimes that ends up being a monstrosity of a card that it's like, oh yeah, everyone would play it at that point or something. But it's always fun to talk about those things. Yeah. Sorry, I'll let you keep on going.
No, you're fine. Hero, I think he's going to be really good. I don't know. I I think he's going to be scary if I were to play against him, because then everything is evasive and ward, and that's kind of scary. And you can play him on turn 5 or maybe earlier. Who knows? Especially when you're running blue. And then Ink Geyser, I think this is going to be a card played in like every blue-green deck, personally. At least one or two. I think people like Alaric will run 4. But yeah, I think this is going to be a card that's played often. And then this Pete, I hate that he won't let me sing my songs with my characters, and I think he would be really scary if I went up against him with what I'm playing now. I don't know.
We'll find a way.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I would play him though, but I also just don't play green steel. So
yeah, kind of almost thinking through a lens of the deck I play, even though if I don't think this card is good, I still don't want to play against it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then let's see. Let's go with Lucas so we can make sure if his computer is going to die on us, we at least get his thoughts on these cards first.
Watch it. Okay. I guess we'll start with the Merlin. Oh my god, this card is terrible. Oh my goodness. The stat line is rough. You have to name a card. I mean, if you can call the card, you're either 1 better than your opponent or 2 cheating.
And you're still not winning the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't. There's so many better one drops in blue and purple. I mean, the Chernobog Magic Brimline already just seems way much better. I do like the hero. The hero I can get behind. I can definitely get behind that card. Seeing as you have free shift in that deck, especially with Diablo, I feel like Diablo's main problem still is with blue being a deck. It still has so much targeted removal. But with the ward kind of protecting it is so ridiculous. Also giving like the Shift Clarabelle evasive and ward is really nice. Be Prepared still a card, but for some odd reason most people are cutting this card. I don't see why, but they are. Ink Geyser. This card is crazy. I think this card's really good. I think it'll see tons and tons of play. Yeah, especially against red decks, putting them down to 3 ink right before the turn they would prep you is like super strong. So I don't see a world where you don't play this card at all. Pete is one of my personal favorite cards. My God, this card is broken. This card is so good. I played green steel for a little bit, and the problem was you would play 1-drop Diablo. You would look at your opponent's hand of like 4 kill spells, and you immediately have to pick up your cards and scoop because there's no point in playing the game. So, Pete, however, is so good because dropping Pete on 3, like the no action whistle guy, is so good. And then you get to shift this dude on top of it. Zeus doesn't kill it. If you have 6 characters on the board to strengthen it, you've already won the game. Let's be fair here. I agree with your statement on that. If you have 6 characters on the board, you've probably already won the game. But I do think the Pete will see a lot of play. The Pete's super strong. So, yeah, pretty good card. I think the hero is probably the best card in this row, though. The hero is really good. I do like it.
Yeah. Definitely great pointing out the Pete synergy. I didn't want to spoil that in case anyone was going to mention it, but having that Pete games referee on 3 shifting straight into this on turn 4 is pretty backbreaking because the whole game plan going back to like even the last set champs where if you play green steel like you were playing, Lucas and I played in the finals, playing Pete against any deck that is going to sing songs, the whole thing I'm trying to do as Steel Song is set up characters just to sit there and sing songs at you. But if I can't do that, all those characters are like 1-2 strength max, and I mean Zeus isn't even hard casting. Zeus is still not killing this resist 1/5 willpower character, so definitely like the take on that card for sure. Luca, what you got on these? You think these are trash or maybe see some play?
I'll go start with Merlin. I think this card is like you play purple for like playing the best one drops in the entire game, and this is the one you choose. I just feel like it's a bad start. Like you have Chernobog, Broom, and Diablo, and we went, yes, I want the 1 minute that does nothing. I feel like even if you're like in the future formats, they could print a broken shift target, and this card would still be bad. Like, you could like argue that there is a bunch of cards, like you can name like Merlin and hopefully hits, or not Merlin. Yeah, just name Merlin and hopefully hit something good. That just doesn't seem good enough. So I don't know a world where this card would be playable. Next card, Hero. Also, I have been hating on this card. Number one, because it's the Set Champs promo, and I hate that they keep printing terrible cards for Set Champs. This card is so bad. It like when you're like, oh, your character's gain evasive and ward. I'm gonna play a B prep, and your board's gonna be gone. Like this card is not stopping me from doing anything. You're gonna have one turn. You're gonna quest for like a couple. Also, all the shift targets are terrible. They are so bad. Like you have one that's a 3-mana 3/3 that has close to no text. So like it's just like this card's terrible. Also, like, oh my god, you just like I can't imagine putting this in my deck and being like, yes, this is my game plan. The 7-mana 4/6 with shift 5.
Hey, let people test and cook, and it may not be
I'm
at that
letting
level.
them.
Let us
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, Alaric saying he's putting 4 in his deck right now. He already
This
opened
card's
you
broken.
all his
I'm
cards.
telling you. This card
You
is
go,
broken.
Alaric. You go.
I'll put 4 in my red blue deck.
I'll cheat.
The Ink Geyser. I think Ink Geyser's a really good card. I talked about this previously. It works really well with the Hercules card, the Return of the Herc. So you can kind of combo with this and just make sure your opponent can't kill your big threat. I also think in like grindy games, you can play this and then play Bend Your Will, or you can play the 6-mana, or sorry, it's 8 mana. It's an 8-mana genie. Whenever it quests, you can play an action 5 or less for free. So you can play the Ink Geyser for free, and then play the 7-mana Bend Your Will. That's probably too cheesy, but like that's something I was thinking about. But Ink Geyser's a pretty good card, I think. I think in the future, Lorcana, this card will be like pretty impressive. Pete, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's like crazy. I think it does make purple or green steel better because it's pretty hard to kill in the red blue matchup, and you kind of needed a card to like get you to the end of the finish line, and I think this card does that pretty well. Also, keeping your Shmees alive is pretty good. Has 1 damage, 3, yeah. You also like all the shift targets aren't bad. Like Hero, like Pete is like one of the best steel cards in the entire game, so that makes it better. I also think like it's really good against the Songs deck, but the Songs deck is not great right now. I think in the future, if Songs becomes prevalent again, this card just absolutely destroys that deck.
Yeah, so kind of looking at the card through the lens of what's good right now, if that deck is finds prevalence again, that's going to be better. But even in its own right now, it's a pretty decent card to drop on 4. Shifting on to the Pete Games Referee, which is kind of to juxtapose against the comments you made on Hero Hamada. The shift targets play a big role in how good a Floodborn character actually is. Because am I playing a vanilla, or like you mentioned, there's like no text on the shift target, just so that I can play this Floodborn, which might be a decent card? And obviously, I need to have both of those cards. I need to essentially get a tempo loss of I'm losing that one character that I played on the field on putting this on top of it. So a lot of things to consider there, and that kind of almost Pete being a almost, I would say, 3+ of staple in any steel deck right now really helps Pete Space Pirates case there, especially since it's shifting the exact turn after they could not play actions. So yeah, definitely agree with a lot of those points. And then I'll let you kind of run through our next line here of Lyle Tiberius Rourke, Mulan Mushu, who's finally in the game, and then our what probably will be talked about a lot, and don't take all the thunder from Lucas because he'll want it. Sapphire Coil. Luca, you're up.
Okay, I'll start with Lyle first. The pretty. This card just seems like I don't even know. This is so bad. It is 8 mana and it dies to itself. Like, I love the card and I love the movie, but like, this is terrible. Like, it kills itself, and like,
My bad.
I don't even like. I couldn't imagine playing this card in a deck. Like, even with the returner, like Herc, you can play this out, and then what? Like, there's like
for
nothing to do.
everything.
Yeah. Next, Mulan. Yeah, this card seems pretty bad. In the red steel deck, you kind of already have top end, so I just wouldn't imagine you want to play a 5 mana shift card with evasive. That like there isn't any like good evasives you want to kill. Like there's a shark, and then you kill shark, and then you have nothing going for you. I love Mulan. But this card's terrible. Like, just also like there are again no good shift targets. Like you have the 1 mana Mulan, and it dies, or it doesn't die. It has 2 damage on it already. So Fox kills it, or no, it doesn't. It has evasive. Wait, this card's broken. No,
Kids
this card's
yapping. Kids yapping.
Next card, 5 mana, 4/4, request for 1 whenever your character challenges. I looked at this card a little bit and I like it because you can go turn 5 Mushu, turn 6 Maui Shark, and then you can play the ready things, the attack and the ready characters. There's like a cool combo and you can gain a lot of lore off of it. It's kind of like a good. It kind of just like gets you to the end of the game, kind of closes things out. Sapphire Coil. Probably one of the best cards like in the entire game. I think top 5 probably. Like it obviously needs a mix of other cards to be good, but this card is just like unbelievably good. It's just like it is so oppressive. Like the one thing that decks were good at is like they had big characters, and this just completely removes that. And also, it is inkable. For what reason, I cannot tell you. Like this card should not have been inkable, and it also should have said once per turn. Probably, I think it will get errata to be uninkable and say once per turn, and then the card will be trash, and then we're good. Yep. All these cards suck except for Coil.
I'm tiny looking at all the cards we haven't been through yet.
I was just curious. I was like, what do we still have that's like good? And then I was like, not like good, because like some of these cards are good, just not in like a competitive setting. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Yeah.
what? I couldn't remember the other cards that were here.
Yeah. So Luca putting it out there that Sapphire Coil could have the potential of being the second eroded card in Lorcana after Bucky. Definitely we'll see, because yes, someone working on the design of these cards definitely is doing a little quality control, making sure that Ruby Sapphire cards seem to be getting nothing but more love and more fuel in the same direction of their reduced power strategy and banishing. So, Lucas, what are your thoughts on these? These cards are red, and one of them's even blue. These are right up your alley, right?
Yeah,
If you don't look at the steel.
sadly, 3 out of the 4 are like unplayable. But to piggyback off what Lucas said, the red Lyle. Oh gosh. Um, I I don't see how this card's good at all. It literally, it kills itself. I mean, 3 lore is cool, but again, it kills itself. So I don't know.
Y'all just gotta listen to my strategy when it comes to my turn. Y'all just gotta listen to my strategy.
I mean, looking from the other cards you put in this
sickle,
list,
guys. She's popping the sickle.
Mirabelle was the other card. Do you have something planned for that, or did you just throw it in here?
Yeah, Mirabelle
why
is
not?
not it. Nor is Lot. Mulan, Red Steel's always been a bad deck. I think it's still going to continue to be a bad deck. Mulan's cute, but Shark still exists. And if you're going to kill a Shark with this, cool. It's dead. I don't know. I don't think the Mulan's very good. Mushu, still not a very good card. With the introduction of Sapphire Coil, I don't see how Mushu sees really any play at all. I mean, it's a cool card, don't get me wrong, and I feel like Red Steel Challenge decks could be a thing, but yeah, questing for 1 and I guess kind of being like a Calhoun is cool, but I don't know. If you play against any red deck, they probably just won't leave anything tapped, and then when they get to that point of the game, they'll just be prep L board, and it was like you played your entire first 7 turns for nothing. However, the best card in the game for sure is Sapphire Coil. I don't see how this card is ridiculous. The developers definitely do not test cards when they create them, because this card was definitely not tested at all. Have they read the Big Sisu before? That card is
what does Big Sisu do?
God, it's an 8 cost uninkable, shift 6, quest for 3. When you play this character, kill everything with 2 strength or less. Sapphire Coil is like ice block on crack.
It's better microbots.
The amount of times you can ink a turn is pretty wild. And I mean, at most you can minus something by 2, which is good. And I feel like you'll still be playing ice block. So this paired with ice block, I just don't see how anything survives Sisu anymore. Even the Pete, ink for turn to go to 8, ice block it, and there's Big Sisu. And it's like, sick Pete. Nice. This card is ridiculous. I don't know why it's inkable. That also makes no sense. It only costs 2. And in any ramp deck where the game plan is just a ramp, this card is just a free -2 to anything. Especially in blue-red, where you had the Sisu on ice, and majority of the time you were using a tiny ice block to try to ping these little small things and help you get a little more value out of Brawl, Medusa, Sisu, Little Sisu. This, however, just makes those cards exponentially good. This card will probably have some kind of sort of hit. I don't think it's Bucky level, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, the main thing essentially making sure you have enough cards to be able to ink or double ink and maybe even triple ink in 1 turn to be able to get these -2 powers online for your millions of even your non-action item or actions that are tied to characters. even if they peat, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Sapphire Coil is definitely broken.
Definitely won't be fun for anyone not playing that. What do you think about these cards, Ash? Are you cooking with any of these Mulan, Mushu, Rourke? You gonna give them any love since they're essentially being put in the trash can by our pros?
Well, I do not appreciate them going first.
Don't let they don't
shoot
know
me
anything.
down over here. Lyle, first time Alaric read it to me, I did not know that it dealt 2 damage to everybody's characters. So at first I thought it was good, but then since it deals damage to my characters too, I don't think it'll be any good. Mulan and Mushu, I really like those, and I'm gonna try and put them in something because I really like them. Yeah, I don't think that a challenger deck is going to be where it's at this set, but I'm gonna try it out. And then the Sapphire Coil, unfortunately, I think it's just way too good. It's broken, and I plan to go back to Red Blue just to play it because I don't think I'll be able to beat Red Blue if I don't play it.
So you're gonna join them? Join the dark side?
Go back to that side.
Oh no.
People are following my teachings now, DJ. They're realizing the best deck in the game.
Gonna pay for some classes with Lucas.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speaking of teachings, we do have our Metafy link. So we do offer coaching now. So you can get your red-blue coaching in from Lucas. And don't worry, he will be much nicer and not call your cards trash in those coaching sessions.
Yes, I will.
Pay him to call your cards trash. Some of people might be into that.
Oh, God.
Tanya, what do you think? Where are you at? Oh no, she's gonna say something about Lyle and try to cook with it or something.
We were already cooking with it in the chat.
Oh no. Oh,
so
all I see is cooking.
Realistically, you could play Lyle and you could ink twice with Zipper. It'll do damage, but you could heal once
during your turn.
Shh. But you can ink. No, I'm talking about with Zipper. It gives resist, or you could just use something to give it resist. Anyways, but we were talking about that. I don't think Lyle's that good though. It's kind of mid. I think I could maybe do some kind of cooking with it, but I doubt it. I'm not a huge fan of red cards, but I will be cooking with Ruby Steel because I thought that the Mushu and the Mulan were really good. Yeah. I was very upset when Mushu didn't get an enchanted. That made me very sad. It better be a DLC promo or I'm crashing out. But I think the Mulan and the Mushu, like, first off, they have a lot of synergy. And then, like, I was already, like, cooking, like, where you could play, like, locations like Thebes or Snuggly Duckling. You could actually also play probably the Ruby Coil because it gives +2. Like, you could play the Maximus and gain 5 lore at the end of your turn because something has 10 power. Like, there's a lot you could do. I'm just saying, there's options. I do think Sapphire Coil is ridiculous. I wonder though, because everybody was really excited for Jim Hawkins, right? When Jim Hawkins came out, what was it, 2 sets ago, last set, and it was like every time you ink, it gets Challenger +2, right? Like, and then like the card flopped because it facilitates. The biggest thing with Coil is that you have to be able to ink like multiple times to really like proc the effect very well. So you're having to put Fishbone Coil back into your deck, playing at least potentially like 1 Great Stone to also facilitate that. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good card, but I just don't know. It's definitely top 5, I think, right now. Number 1 card's always going to be Rapunzel Gifted with Healing, though. I'm just going to say it. Rapunzel Gifted with Healing. Number 1, OG Sunset 1. Never dropped from the top spot. But I like these cards. I think they're really good, and I see a lot of cooking coming from everybody. I think almost every red-blue player on our team has put a Sapphire Coil as a 3 of 2 to 3 of in their deck.
Is it cooking if everyone's making the same bland recipe though?
It is cooking technically.
I
It's
mean,
just unseasoned cooking.
yeah, a dish you've tasted a million times before.
Yeah, it's that plain
Whereas-
old boring like fettuccine alfredo that comes from a glass jar. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
That you got to have
Everybody's
promotions
pulling it
for
off the
buy one
shelf.
take one home, like Olive Garden
Yeah.
did. Yeah. But no, definitely anytime you have these cards like Lyle, Mulan, and Mushu, where you see their text and the text is pretty small, means they have a lot going on, and even if it's not competitive, they're avenues for creating a deck. I don't know around Lyle, that card just seems not viable, but yeah, anytime you put a lot of text on a card, it gives you options versus a vanilla card. What do we think, Heaven? Are you a Lyle hater or a Lyle believer?
A Lyle believer. That's my card, bro. That's my card.
So, there it is.
Yeah. So here's the cooking. Okay, I'm gonna have like 20 Prince Erics in there. Okay. And so when this is still damage to 2, Prince Eric just dies. I can't take out a character of yours. I'm not really gonna put 20 in there, but 4. 4, I guess. I guess that's okay. So I was thinking Lyle and Mulan and Mushu just like straight up just attacking y'all. Just bam, 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 bam. Won't even give y'all a chance. It's gonna kill you all or banish you all. Excuse me. So make sure I get that right. But yeah, so that's my take on all 3 of those. Those are definitely going in a deck together. I'm just gonna, Calhoun, have Mulan, Mushu, and Calhoun now. Just challenge.
Can I interject? When you build this red deck, make sure it doesn't have 36 uninkables.
Oh no.
We
She
don't
did that
talk
one
about
time.
Bruno.
That
We don't
was
talk
funny.
about Bruno.
Your inkable cards are not playable. You cannot ever play them. They go straight to inkwell in that case.
Oh, well, darn. Okay, I tried. Anyway, I tried. Thanks, Tanya. We don't talk about Bruno. You talked about him. So Sapphire Coil, yeah, that's definitely gonna be great. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. You're definitely gonna have to use like I find them a platinum to get rid of those cards.
There it
As soon
is.
as 4 of those are out, it's done for. Like, you're dead. Just scoop.
That's
But yeah, I
scary.
love
Oh my
all
God, I
these
didn't think
cards.
about more than one of them being out.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, oh my gosh, like Maleficent Dragon's gone. Like, it's just, yeah, it's crazy thinking about that one. But I love all those cards in that row, especially you Lyle haters. I'm just saying, Lyle's my guy. So Prince Eric's my cooking. I'm cooking with him.
Yeah. I mean, I played that Prince Eric. I figured that's the one you were talking about back in the day when I played Amber, Ruby, Mufasa, and it can be strong in a lot of scenarios, and you'd be procking it there. So even if it wasn't like because I mean, 8 ink is a lot to ask for to be able to get that out. So even thinking about even cheating it out with like Mufasa or things like that, you got a lot of different options. Not going to say every deck will probably want Lyle, but that's where the creative thinking comes in. So I'll be interested to see Lyle on the other side of the board.
Thank you. Christmas and red, yellow. I got all sorts of cooking there.
All right, Alark. What do you have
So
in the kitchen for these?
So for Sapphire Coil, it's like the same thing. I think that card is going to be amazing. I mean, it's inkable. I know it's 2 costs, but still, I mean, -2, you can just little Sisu a lot of things at that point now. If you have 2 out, everything's gone. I think it's going to be one. That is a card that I constantly tell Ashton that like I am afraid of that card. It will change a lot of things and how you look at it, because now it used to be, can it get ice blocked? Now it's, can I get Sapphire Coil? And then how bad is it going to be from there, So that card's just amazing. Mushu and Mulan, I really like these two cards. And the reason why is because the Red Steel. My whole thing with Red Steel is that new Mickey that came out that when you hit, you can just drop them, right? And that's what I was thinking about is like turn 3, you have Mickey out, you can drop Mushu if you can banish something. Going from there, same thing. The Lyle isn't that great, but if you can drop it with the Mickey like early game, then it's gonna be good. Same thing with the Mulan because it has evasive. It's gonna hit a lot of things. Whenever this character challenges another character, you're going to be able to just challenge a lot of their other characters. And then the Mushu's out, you can just gain stuff. So those 3 cards together, I can cook with it, especially in Steel. I'm going to try it, see how it works. Am I going to win stuff? Probably not. But is it going to be fun to try to drop Lyle out turn 4? It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. And especially that Mulan ability of when it challenges another character, that's kind of all it needs to be able to activate that your other characters gain phrase that we don't see terribly often just thrown around in Lorcana of the ability to challenge readied characters. Most see their characters that are readied as kind of being fairly safe from challenge based decks, and this kind of opens up the door to say, hey, I can have that one drop, the new one drop Mulan, which can be a good shift target because it's just a better Simba. 2/1 stat line, filters your hand, draw 1, discard 1. That's another shift option. And you never know if they're going to have that option there to shift it. And then all their other characters can attack readied characters, which is pretty strong.
Especially against like green players when they have the Prince John always standing. You can hit it now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now it hurts them, so it's something to be afraid about.
Definitely. And as kind of been the theme, especially with our pro players on the call, red blue, a lot of times they're not going to really be giving you much value that's sitting on the board, even if it is readied. Oh, cool, I can take out your Tipo that's ready that you've been keeping there. I bet you wish you still had him. It didn't already give you an ink or anything. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic and when you're going against certain archetypes. All right, we got 2 enchanteds in this group. With Tamatoa Happy as a Clam and the All is Found. So these are all Sapphire cards, no dual ink or anything. So we can kind of see people have been wanting to look into some Sapphire cards today. How about Alaric, if you want to start us off on going through these?
Yeah. I'm going to start off with All is Found. I really like this song. I love the enchanted on it. You can sing it with 5, which is awesome, and then you just put 2 cards from your discard into your inkwell. So it's like, to me, it's like you can Great Stone Dragon, and then you can sing this, and now you have 3 on 1 turn. So it's like awesome. From my discard, I don't have to use it from my hand, which that's why Fishbone scares me because lowering my hand, it's just I don't know how I'm gonna play the next turn if I'm dropping my hand size. So this going from my discard, I think is awesome. Water has memory. I'm probably not going to play this at all.
Safe to say you didn't put this in the list.
No. That bell, that's just crazy. That's just turn 1 popsicle or the other tool, banish, play her. Cool, I have a 3 cost now. Now I'm just going to, you're not going to deal with it turn 1, turn 2. I'm just going to start singing 1 jump and stuff like that and just start building. And then the Tamatoa, just those 2 cards, Tamatoa and Bell, are just really nuts in this set. Like blue, this set is just crazy, I think. So I think we're going to see a lot of Tamatoa, and of course you're going to see every Bell. If you play blue, you're going to see Bell.
Yeah, Sapphire's definitely got some power this go around because they didn't already have some playable cards before.
Yeah. Makes it playable, right?
All right. Well, Heaven, will ask the question: is water has memory? Is that one of the cards you brought into this list?
I actually did not.
Oh, okay. I was hoping
Yeah,
to see
surprise,
who
right?
has that one in
Thank you.
there.
Yeah, so blue, I struggle with the mechanics of blue pretty bad. Just ask Corey. It's really bad. I like emptied my hand with I think either How Far I'll Go or with Sail. I can't remember one night, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So blue is not my mechanic at all. But I think that All Is Found is fantastic. I'm gonna bounce off of Alric with that. With the Great Stone Dragon. Imagine having Great Stone Dragon out in this. Like you just throwing all your discard back into your inkwell. Dang. Water Has Memory. I feel like it was trying to merge two different cards together and be like, oh, let's see what combo we can mix up, and it's just terrible. And the fact that it's uninkable, so it's like you can't even use it as an ink to even try to get ahead. So I'm like, you know. Bell. Everybody's talking about Bell. It's fantastic. Why not? I mean, you can smash things immediately on turn, 2. So that's great. Tamatoa, everybody's talking about that one. I think everybody's gonna be chasing that. Like I said, I'm not a blue mechanic very well, but that just seems broken, to be honest. And that's all my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah. So blue kind of not being your kind of go-to play style. And that's absolutely fair. Most people, I feel like, would have kind of one that play style that kind of draws them in, and Sapphire, their game plan just not really appealing to you. Is completely fair. And
Yeah, it's
doesn't
too
help
slow
that
for
you're
me.
gonna have to see it a lot.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you doing? Can I read that card? I'm that person. So
Let's see. Ash, what are your thoughts on these very sad Sapphire cards here?
Water Has Memory was my card.
Let's go. What are you cooking up with Water Has Memory?
Probably not anything, but I just liked the idea of the possibility of taking the top 4 cards of somebody else's deck and putting 3 in the bottom and giving them whatever the crappiest card was of the 4. I think that would mess with them. All Is Found. I think that'll be good. I know that Heaven, I think you said that you would play it with the Great Stone Dragon. I think I would play one or the other. I don't think I would play both personally. I do like that it's a song so that I can sing it instead of needing to pay for it with ink. Belle, I think is going to be amazing. If I can get her in my mulligan, I think she'd be awesome. I would what would I play? Like 4 cards in the first hand, ink one, play the red item tool thing, play her, and then doesn't that one let me play another item if it's banished? So play Popsicle and then draw.
I believe it reduces the cost of the next item by 2 ink, so you can play a 2 ink.
So I
you
can
can
play
play coil for free.
Yeah. So I think that'd be it, the ultimate like first play.
Yeah, definitely a high roll hand.
Yeah. And then Tomato, I really like this card. At first I didn't. At first I was like, oh, just another one to get all your items back in your hand. But I really do like this card. And I think that if I am going to play blue-red again, that I'll be playing this card.
Yeah, definitely kind of a sentiment where people had like, haven't I seen this card before? Tamatoa bringing back items. But hey, he synergizes with himself, which sounds very on brand for him. Tanya, what do you think? You playing any of these Sapphire cards?
Oh yeah, I'm playing all of them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that I'm gonna play Water Has Memory. Don't hate me. But I want to try to build like a different Sapphire Steel list. So yeah, I don't know. All Is Found is literally just Greatstone in a song, which I kind of like, and it just like facilitates the ramp. The only thing that sucks is that it's a 5 cost. I don't know that I would ever hardcast it. I would probably just like sing it with something like my
The new
pyro.
Aurora.
Yeah. Oh. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
sing
It's a
it
little
fine.
weird. Yeah, because like you could play, but yeah, but I'm not gonna play Amber with it. It'd be Steel, so it'd be like Pyros or the new what is it? The Clucker, Miss Clucker.
The Clucker.
The chicken or whatever she is. That's the bodyguard. I'd probably like sing it. I don't know that I would ever hard cast it because I wouldn't want to waste like 5 ink putting 2 cards into my discard when you have like so many items to do it. But I still really like the song. The song. I think the Enchanted is gorgeous. Belle. I don't think that Belle has a home in Sapphire Steel. I think it is very much a Ruby Sapphire card because of the unconventional tool. It just facilitates that like turn 1 play like so well, where you just play it, you're banishing the item, playing the bell, and then you play a popsicle for free. Like it's just like that's just too good to like pass up. So I just don't and I just don't see where like you don't have that kind of like play line in the Sapphire Steel. I think she could still be played. I just don't know how good it would be because like you definitely want to like proc the Hiram, and if you're banishing an item for the bell, it just kind of feels bad, I think. Tamatoa, I said was so good from the moment I saw it. I was super hoping that it was going to be an enchanted. Uh, yeah, this card is. What did I try to make work? Oh, uh, the Scrooge McDuck. And Ruby Sapphire tried to make the Scrooge McDuck with the Vitalisphere work because it played an item for free if it banished a card, but this one is like quest and you can play your
Yeah.
lucky dime for nothing. And I'm like, oh, this would have been great like 3 sets ago when I was trying to make the freaking Scrooge McDuck work. But it's also the other Scrooge McDuck that also came out in this set is also really good and it has like a similar effect. But I think that all 3 of these cards, excluding Water Has Memory, will see a lot of play in the current meta going into set 7. So
Yeah, and that Scrooge McDuck is 1 ink cost less, uninkable, a
hey,
3/5, quest for
it
1,
it costs
and it
one
has
less. It
1
costs
less.
one less to just like you just wait a turn and play the lucky dime instead of popping your Vitalisphere playing the Scrooge McDuck. Like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely a hey, if you thought that was ever gonna see play, let me see this Tamatoa now.
Yeah, for sure.
Oof. Scrooge McDuck crying. Stock's going down from 50 cent super rare to 20 cent. Uh, all right. Professional players, what are your thoughts on these blue cards? Are they good? Should we be playing these cards? Should I be playing Water Has Memory in my deck? What do you think, Luca?
I think Tamata is really good. I think it's a 4 of include in any blue deck. I don't think there's much reasoning for that. I don't know why you need to explain that. That card's pretty broken. I think Bell super good. It like does what the deck has always wanted to do is like have a card for the early stages of the game. It's good late game because it's just a quester. It's a 3/3 for some reason. So it doesn't have to brawl if you need it to. It kills basically everything.
Banishes
Water Has Memory. Huh? That's on.
banishes everything.
Oh yeah, banishes. My fault. Memory Has Water. Look at the top 4 cards.
It has water.
Memory
Doesn't
has
say-
water. Dyslexic.
Put
Water
one
has
on top of your deck and the rest on the bottom of. Okay, this card
Your
seems
opponent.
super awful.
It's chosen player. You can do it to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
This card is uninkable and doesn't draw your cards. Sounds bad. Next
Mhm.
card. Put up to 2 cards from your discard into your inkwell face down and insert it. I do like this card quite a bit. The problem is like you kind of run out of gas, so you have to play a whole new world. And playing a whole new world in Blue Steel version, I don't think is that good right now. I do like that you can go Bell banish your items, and this kind of works together with each other. But it's probably just not worth it. I don't know where I would want this, but Tomato and Bell, very good cards. S tier cards, probably the best cards
If
in the
you are
set.
ever putting your items into your inkwell off of this card, you are actually, I can't say what I want to say. You're wildin'. Why are you
All right,
putting your
your
items
turn,
into
Lucas.
the discard?
All right. I picked the All Is Found card. This card's great. I like it. 2 free ink. Sure, why not? I'll take it.
God,
Majority
so
of the time,
smart.
Luca, you need to mute yourself for this part. This card is crazy. All Is Found is crazy. Don't listen to this guy. I don't think this is his first time reading blue cards. He had to read Water Has Memory and he read it wrong. All Is Found is crazy, all right?
Oh, his computer die again?
No, Luca just like DDoSed him.
All right, I'll wrap it up for him.
This card's
These cards are trash.
No, don't look at that.
Oh.
Water His Memory. This card is rough. This card is really, really rough. I like that it's from Frozen and it's cool, but it just doesn't give you any cards. And I mean, stacking the deck is like, all right, sure. You'll get to those cards eventually, so I feel like there's no reason to stack the deck, I guess. Bell. I don't think Bell's as broken as people think. I think Bell's cool. I think it will see competitive play. I don't think we'll see it as many as people think. Banishing an item is cool, but I feel like if you're going to play this and Hiram in the same deck, you need to be playing more of a item-heavy version, and those versions just don't seem as good as your standard Sisu on Ice. I feel like Bell in Sisu on Ice versions probably won't see as much play because Hiram is still just a better banish item card. Bell can be cool in aggro, but Sisu's still better. I don't know how much play I would play Bell. I don't think she's that great, but I can see why people think she's nuts. I mean, it's a free 3/3, but again, in the matchups I feel like you're going to want Bell in, there's just better cards to be playing. And again, Hiram is the card that eats items. And if you're using Bell to eat items, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Tamatoa, however, is nuts. This card is broken. This card is ridiculous. Playing items for free, returning 2 items. A lot of times you'll even find yourself using Hiram to pop like dimes and stuff. So using the Toa to play them out for free is like insanely great. It's got okay stats. Sapphire Coil running around, but it's a 6-cost inkable. So nothing too bad. And it does have the on-play effect of returning 2 items. So you kind of already get value off of it when it hits the board. The questing part is just like an added on bonus. But yeah, I feel like every card in this row is pretty good besides Water His Memory. If it added a card to your hand, we'd be there. But just stacking is like, eh. So yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely losing some power. They probably toned it back because you can influence your opponent's deck. Whereas otherwise it would have been like potentially a uninkable develop your brain if it could draw a card of those 4, for example. And it is interesting when we were talking about kind of power creep and other similar cards and other sets like the Scrooge McDuck. The All Is Found kind of reminding me a bit of the Friend Like Me, which is a 5-cost inkable song that I can sing for 5 as well. And it puts 3 cards on, I believe, from the top of
each
player's deck into their inkwell face down and exerted.
Yeah.
So this is, I get 1 less, but your opponent gets none. So in my opinion, initial thoughts, I would say
You also
significantly
can put,
better.
Being able to put items in your inkwell is pretty cool. I mean, just because why not? Hey, let me cook.
Oh.
All right, speaking of cooking, we got some cards in the next row that Lucas, I'll have you start off on.
Oh, God. Oh my god, these cards are so bad. I don't think I've read any of them.
We're
Matthias
getting
is a 2-cost
live
evil,
reactions.
3/2. Your queen characters gain ward. Opponents can't choose them except to challenge. And it only quests for 1. Holy moly. Mickey Mouse. 2-cost uninkable. During your turn, whenever this character bans another character on a challenge, you can play a character for free. Okay, this is kind of cool. I don't think it'll see any competitive play at all, but I feel like in like a purple steel list, it could be cool, I guess. Crab boosting this up would be cute, I guess. That's like the only things I could really see like the use for it, I guess. It'd be cool if you were like the crab boost this, kill it, and then drop the 7-drop Cindy. We're in there. But
that's
other than that, yeah,
crazy.
this card, we're going to have to go to the next one. Hira.
Bagheera.
I think I actually picked this card. This card's crazy. I picked it. That's right. During an opponent's turn, when this character is banished, deal 2 damage to each opposing character. Okay, I see why I picked it now. It's a bodyguard and it has grab your swords on it. Should I explain more? This card is crazy good. I feel like it's pretty cool for blue steel though. Having like a bodyguard and a grab your swords. Only against any deck that's not like red blue. Other than that, this card's pretty cool. Gontu, when you play this character, characters can't exert to sing songs until the start of your next turn. Each player pays 2 more to play actions or items. Okay, yeah, this card's nice. This card's pretty good. I like this. You got to pay 5 for a brawl is ridiculous. However,
And
Medusa, baby, Medusa,
Mm-hmm.
Sapphire Coil, little CC. But anyways, I still think this card's pretty good. I feel like against Amber Steel, this card's ridiculously good. Oh no, never mind, I lied. Okay, it's kind of cool against Amber Steel, but you still get to sing songs, so not as good, I guess. Anyways,
Yeah, just not that first
You
turn.
just can't.
Yeah, you can. Come on, Tiny, stop trying to cheat. Hira is a good card.
Bagheera?
The other 3 are like, eh.
Bagheera. It's Bagheera, guys.
Dude, there's an H in there. How is that Bagheera?
It's silent.
No, it's not. We gotta get
Luca,
Bruce.
your turn.
How do you say that card, Luca?
All right. We'll start with
Bagheera.
We'll start with Matthias.
Okay.
2 mana, 3/2. Good. We're starting off good. It's blue. Pretty good. Your queen characters gain ward. That's pretty awful. If there's a good queen deck, maybe this card will be playable. Currently, there aren't very many, so I would say let's not do that. Next one's Mickey. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may play a character for free. Wow, this card sucks. It's it's a 2 mana uninkable. You could grab it up and attack something for 4, but your opponent has to be an idiot and tap down a character.
Dude, if you play this and then you play Cogsworth and give it Rush, you're in there.
Oh,
You are in there.
And their character has to be 1 health.
What hell?
All right. Bagheera.
Yeah.
This card is.
Era.
I do like Bagheera. It's pretty decent.
Bagheera's crazy.
I feel like the grab your swords effect is pretty good. The problem is we're in a blue steel format, so not great start. But being a blue red dominant format, a card that deals 2 damage to the field doesn't seem too great. So I probably wouldn't play this. And I feel like if I was playing a bodyguard, I would just much rather have Chinpo because he big. I do like the effect. Like if there's an aggro heavy format, blue steel already has Guyver Swords and Tink, so I feel like this card wouldn't even come in that much in handy. Gantu. I do like this, or Gantu. I do like this card quite a bit. It's just like a thing you need to play for blue steel or for blue red and like songs decks, to like kind of slow them down a bit, because they have prep and brawl. But yeah, out of this list, probably Bagheera is my favorite one.
Yeah, and one area I want to kind of ask and for both of you is for Bagheera, essentially it not being great into like an aggro deck that is not going to challenge into your Bagheera bodyguard because it only activates that grab your swords effect when he's banished on your opponent's turn. So you would,
Oh my god, this card's unplayable. Jesus
okay,
Christ.
I was wondering if you caught on to that because
it's so much worse.
No, it's pretty cool.
I do like Bagheera, but
I feel like Bagheera is just a cool character in general. So
yeah,
There's a cool
Bagheera
cat.
being a jaguar.
yeah, I feel like Bagheera might see play in like a Bagheera themed deck.
Like, if in the
All
future,
right.
if there's more Bagheeras, yeah,
Cut it out.
Bagheera does seem to be.
Or
Cut
a
it out.
Bagheera shift line.
Oh,
All
a
right, Tanya's not
Bagheera
going to be able to make
shift
the rest of
I
the
do
call
like
if
that.
we continue on Bagheera.
Yeah,
About
So
to
we're
move,
gonna go.
about
my
to remove him
laptop
from the
is about to
stage.
die.
We'll-
Not gonna lie.
We'll
Whoops,
let
my
the pros
laptop
mute
died.
themselves for right now, and then we'll let Tanya start talking about Bagheera and all the rest of these.
So thoughts are gone. I think the Mickey's kind of sorry. I think the Mickey's kind of good. I don't think that it's like I think that it would be really good in a Ruby Steel with Vitalosphere, simply because the new and it's definitely not an actual turn 2 play. You're playing it on probably like 3 or 4 Vitalosphere and then like taking something out that way to then play whatever you're gonna play. Probably like the what is it, the Lyle, the 8-drop Lyle, then you can ink something. It'd be crazy. I don't know. The Matthias, it says your queen characters. Like, is it the characteristic queen or is it just queen? Like, I don't know. I think it'd be really good in a blurple like queen list potentially. That was kind of my thought whenever I read it. Because it like all the queens just kind of like proc off of each other. So I think it'd be really good in like that. But I think that's like very niche, but could potentially like be a good fun deck. The Bagheera.
Wait, which card?
The Bagheera.
Are we reviewing that card? I don't think we have.
I don't
Um,
see that card on here, Tanya.
I think that this card's pretty good. But kind of like what Luca said, I would rather play Chenpo. It's a 4/7 versus the 4/3. Like, if I really want to play Grab Your Swords, I'll just sing it with the Chenpo. Was kind of like my thought. I do like it. I just against like aggro versions, it's kind of meh. And like into the coming meta, like it's just kind of meh. Like 2 damage is like cool, but it doesn't really do a lot against a lot of like the decks that we're probably going to be seeing coming up. The Gantu is insane. It's the same situation with Sapphire Steel that they were doing. What was it, the Harlan Sweet list, where they have an Alice out, it has ward, they play a Gantu, they quest, they give the Gantu ward, and then they just quest for game kind of situation. They're doing the same thing with this Gantu. So it's not going to die to a coil, a Sisu, or anything like that unless it's big Sisu. So I think it definitely has a lot of potential. I'm going to probably put that in my Sapphire Steel list.
Yeah, it definitely seems pretty good. Yeah, and then with you mentioning about kind of echoing the thoughts of like I should play a 4/7 Chienpo, a big bigger body. You kind of almost have that. What does it trade into? What trades into it? So whereas Maui would not be banished, not perish, be banished going into Jianpo like the Maui Shark or anything. Bagheera would, but again, they have so many other options to get rid of your characters, so may not be as fruitful. Ash, what are your thoughts here on this last row?
I'll be as fast as possible. Mateus, I think I chose that one. I just want queens and princesses to work. So I think in the future, when I am ready to just play a casual deck and not caring if it's competitive or not, and not caring if I lose, I'm going to try that again. This Mickey, I think it can be good. I don't think it'll be competitive, but I think it would be fun to play casually. What did you say it was called? Bagheera? Bagheera. Okay. I mean, when I first read it, I thought it was going to be good, but like you pointed out, it's on my opponent's turn, so it wouldn't be a card that I would choose. Like you said, I think Chimpo would be a better choice. And then this Gantu, I think it's good. I wish it was inkable. That's it. I just wish it was inkable.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty crazy card if it was inkable. Definitely some combos you can do with some of those, like the Mickey Mouse card, and like you want to do with the Mateus card with all the queen characters. Almost kind of wish it had extended to princesses to open up that pool of cards that it can synergize with a little bit more, but we take what we get, and makes all on theme with the Elsa and Anna both being queen classifications. All right. Ending where we started with our noobs going through the last set of cards. Lark, you want to bring us home on here?
Yeah. I'll start with Mateus. I like him for like a theme deck night, just for the Anna and Elsa. With the new releases of the new Anna and Elsas, I think giving them more would be really cool. Besides that, will he get like competitive play? No, not really. Then the Mickey Mouse, I love this card. This is probably one of my favorite cards that dropped. Just for red steel with the Vitosphere, and giving him the 2+, making him 3 to hit something, and then just drop whatever you want afterwards, to me is awesome. The Bagheera, right?
Bagheera.
That.
Yeah, Bagheera.
That card. I like them. I don't really run bodyguards anymore since I tried to play bodyguards like set 1 and set 2, and then they just scarred me for life. So if I did play a bodyguard deck or did anything with them, I'd like them. I'd run them. Plus for 2. Then if he's banished when my opponent's turn, if he's attacked or something, then I can deal 2 damage and then finish them off if he's still alive. And then the Gantu, I would definitely run him in any of the steel that I would play just to piss my opponent off, to be honest.
Yeah. Even if you don't win moral victory, you gotta make them hate that they had to play a game of Lorcana they wanted to have fun with.
Yeah.
All right, Heaven. Last but certainly not least, let's go through your thoughts on these.
All right, I'm going to chop all these names, so I apologize in advance. Let's see. Matis? Help me out here. Matthias, yeah. Matt at this point, Matt. That's the only things I got. I'm going to flip it. Instead of just the queen deck, how about a knight deck? He's a knight. Let's go knights. Yeah, maybe. Questions, maybe. I was like, ooh, a knight deck. Sure, another one. I think he'd be pretty cool in that for a theme night. The Mickey Mouse, I feel like that's just a smaller Trumpeteer. Like they just was like, oh, this card had potential, and then they just like, hey, let's knock it down to still make it uninkable, but let's challenge it and let it be banished kind of thing instead. So that has potential too, just kind of early game only kind of thing. Bagheera. Don't know if I got that right. Don't
Just
murder
call
me.
it Bad Cat.
No,
Bad Cat is
no.
what we call it now.
Oh gosh, no. So that one I would definitely run in a Steel Song just because then I don't have to run my one grab your swords I have in my entire deck. And it's inkable, so it's like, ooh, double benefits. I mean, Bodyguard, the point is to kind of be banished and like protect something, but then you can protect everything by wiping the board. If it's low cost on your opponent's side, not guaranteed. But that's my thought. And Gantu, I don't know. I'm with, I think it was Ash, that if it was uninkable, it'd be a beast. Like, but unfortunately it's not. So that's going to be a little sad. I feel like most people would only run 2 in there, but it would definitely get that other card that's the coil. It would definitely get coiled pretty quick, I would think. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, definitely have some options. I'm surprised no one mentioned, with Mickey Mouse playing on turn 2. Even within Steel, you can sing or play or sing if you're playing a Singer 3 on turn 1. The One Last Hope to give him additional power and the ability to challenge readied characters, so they can't even say, "Ha, I'm gonna keep them readied. Too bad. I'm gonna attack into your ready Tipo and even live because I believe it gives resist as well. And then because he's a hero, he can attack readied characters or challenge. Sorry. But yeah, a lot of options that we have in this set, especially with all the different texts that we have on these cards. There's definitely no limit to the different decks that you can build. As you can imagine, we just went over this overall small list of cards, but we just spent approximately 2 hours going over all our thoughts on those cards. So look at every card in the new set, analyze them against cards that maybe didn't get a lot of love in previous sets. Maybe you'll find a couple Cogsworths that mesh up.
Once again, we would like to thank our sponsor, House of Cards in Winston-Salem. They are a super great shop if you're ever in the area. They do deliveries via TCG Player, and they also have TCG Pickup. They will be linked below. We are also affiliate partners with Gemtech Accessories. I almost said it wrong again. Gemtech Accessories. There is also a link below if you need bags, sleeves, deck boxes, kind of any TCG need. I think even playmats. We have a code for 10% off. They just came out with a new crossbody bag that holds your deck box and your mat, which is kind of cool. Corey just ordered one. So we'll see how that goes. And then, yeah, as DJ mentioned earlier, the biggest announcement that we kind of have is that we have, as a team, officially launched our Metafy. I think we have coaching available from 6 to 8 o'clock, with the 8 o'clock coaching ending at 9. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and you can either kind of put in the notes for a preference of who you would like to coach you, or just kind of get paired up based on the decks that you're looking for, and that will also be linked below. And we are just super excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video, but we wanted to give you guys some content on the new set before it released on Friday. So yeah, thank you guys.